Hello, my lovelies. So I've been thinking about visions and values of our body, and interestingly, I spoke to three of the body about my thoughts on doing the values over this next period of time. And out of the three people I spoke to, two couldn't even name one of the values. Oops. Now, straight away, I've got to tell you, I've always known two of them very well, but the rest, not so good. In a vlog a couple of months back, I showed signs around my fireplace, which includes the visions and values, trying to learn them by rote. So the next 2 or 3 sessions, I'll cover a couple of the values, just as a reminder perhaps to some of you, but a reminder to me. And if you need to find these, they're on different forms and paperwork. Normally they're hung up in the cafe area, obviously not been returned to that. I don't know if they're going to be. And you can find them on the website. So the first couple I'm going to do today, the first one is I'm going to go from the bottom end, because I think that's sometimes where we peter out as we start to learn these things. So what God says, we do. And it's an interesting one, that, isn't it? What God says, because half of the people trip up because they're not sure if it's God speaking to them or saying, or if it is, they don't know if it is him, themselves, or the enemy. Well, the first place to start for what God says we do is the Bible. And if it's in the Bible, you can pretty well dang well say that it is what God is saying do. And we do it. Now, yeah, some of those things like 2 types of material in one outfit, and you can't eat pork or anything. That all went, and that went with the new covenant that came along later. But how can we simplify this? Well, it's again, we can simplify it by just going to the 10 Commandments, because that's what he told us. That's what he said we are to do. And to make it even easier, if we don't understand necessarily covet or some of the other terminology, love God and love your neighbour. That's what we've got to do. That's what he says, and what God says we do. So start off at that place and check. Am I loving God by doing this? Am I loving my neighbour by doing this? And that can be what you do, what you think, what you carry out, your role. Am I loving God by forgetting all about him for several hours, a whole day, maybe from Sunday to Sunday? And then you can build up from there, because yes, when you're reading the word, or maybe when you're dreaming, or when you're praying, you will get more. And yes, you've got to test it out. And you've got to test it that it's scripturally correct. You've got to test it that it brings fruit, that it's done in love. And of course, you can always ask someone you look up to within the body, who you know is ahead of you in their journey, if you're not sure. Send the dreams to the dream interpretation group. If you've got, that's visions as well. If you know someone, you seem to get something when you pray, ask other prayerful characters within the body that you can trust and say, this is what I'm getting, I just don't know. You know, I remember one friend used to be in the church, and his now wife, well, when they started going out together, they were very Christian about it and working out as to getting married, and they laid down a series of checks that they're doing the right thing by God. So they asked God, please, would you give us 7 confirmations that it's correct that us are going to enter a union together? And over a period of time, some small but some very significant things came into their lives that directed them and pointed them to that way. And I think they've been married 8 or more years now, and going from strength to strength. So what God says we do, you can ask God, what he's saying to you today. And you can find out through the Bible, through scripture, through wise folk within the body, and from meditating and asking for God and what the fruit is out of this. So that's the first one, and it's taken me 5 minutes, so I'm not going to do the second one yet. But have a look at the visions and values. It's something we should know, because that is what the body, the tenet of the body, is saying. That's how we should be carrying out everything. If we do a ministry, if we do a service on behalf of the body out into the community, it should reflect our vision and the values of the way we should go about making that vision come to life. Bless you, folks. Have a good week.